Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gigging the Gig Economy, and my name is Tim. I'm here bringing you a video about payments and how to know if you're doing good in this world of the gig economy. Now, a lot of the jobs that we're doing now are gig work, so it's important to talk about this stuff. But this information isn't just good for GrubHubbers and DoorDashers and all of those people that do that kind of work. It's also good for anybody who is an independent contractor. If you do lawn work for a living and you mow yards and you do landscaping and you do it by yourself and you don't have employees and such, this information is actually viable for you as well. It gives you a little bit of an understanding about how this stuff functions and how to really look at the pay that you're getting. A lot of dashers I see in these Facebook groups, they have an employee mindset, which is not the correct mindset to get in, because you'll find yourself in some hot water if you do it that way, sadly. So I'm bringing information that will help you make better choices about what you are doing. And this even pertains to people who do this for beer money. You know, they don't even make enough money to really file it in their taxes or whatever, although you really should. So let me go ahead and put up some numbers over here, and then we can talk about those numbers. So at the very top, you'll see their vehicle expenses. Man, that doesn't seem right. 30 to 60 cents a mile? That's a lot, right? Yeah, it is a lot. And unfortunately, it costs money to make money. It always does. And in this case, if you are using your vehicle to make deliveries, it costs you money every mile that you drive. And now I'm not even going to get into healthcare expenses and all of that. For now, we'll just stick to the basics. Vehicle expenses, 30 to 60 cents a mile. It really depends on if you have a beater or not. If you have a beater, you're probably not too worried about the depreciation of the vehicle, right? But if you have a newer car, it's probably something that you do actually care about, because you have an asset that is depreciating with every mile that you put on it. You know, if you buy a new car within a year of door dashing, if you do this for, for a main source of income, you're going to put 60,000 to 80,000 miles on your car easy. And that stuff adds up quick. So in the course of a year, you would put on your vehicle what most people would put on their vehicles over the course of a 6-year loan. Most people do 10,000 miles a year on their cars, and they're paying their monthly payments, and that car will last for a long time. But us, yeah, 60,000, that's nothing. That's nothing to put on your car doing this kind of work. So that's something to really keep in mind. So the depreciation of the vehicle is included in that number there. And that's probably the largest portion of what that value represents. But it also represents your insurance costs, the cost for your tires, your maintenance, all the repairs and stuff. And AAA comes out with this number, and the number that they write, and they say for the average vehicle, it's 58 cents a mile, I believe is what they said. It might have been 53, but I'm pretty sure it's 58 is what they're stating that, for last year, that's what they estimate it's going to cost. And they do a lot of calculations with that. So all of those costs that you don't incur maybe every month, or even at all. But when you go to sell a car after 2 years that you've had it and you paid $30,000 for the car, and when you go to sell it, you can only sell it for $3,000, $4,000. Well, that depreciation value that comes out of that mileage, it's going to make a big difference, and it's going to matter to you at that point. And when you put tires on your car, a new set of tires, that's $300, and that's for the cheap set. $40 to $45 for the cheapest tires that you can find, brand new tires. It's for mounting and balancing and all 4 tires, that's going to run you about $300. And you're going to do that probably twice a year. I'd say 1.5 times a year, but twice a year to make the calculations easy. That's $600 a year just for your tires. So yeah, that is included in that number there. And then we're going to look at the taxes here. 15.3% for self-employment tax. That's right. That's the tax rate. That's what the tax man wants, 15.3%. And that actually goes towards Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, those things that normally come out of a paycheck when you're working for the man, as an employee somewhere. The Social Security, Medicaid, and all that stuff is included in the self-employment tax. That's what that's for. And that's why they charge it. And then on top of that, you have your federal income tax, which is, base rate 10%, all the way up to 37%, depending on what bracket you fall into. So 10 to 37% plus 15.3%. And then you have to tack on state taxes. That's right. And it can range anywhere from nothing all the way to 12.7%. New York has the highest state tax, and their state tax rate is 12.7%. And sure, you can deduct those expenses from your taxes, but you still have to pay this stuff quarterly. So it will, after the first year, then you start paying quarterly. Yes, you're supposed to do that. I'm sure a lot of people don't, but they're supposed to. So we're looking at least 25.3%. And then you tack on your state tax, whatever that is. We'll just call it 30% to be, to make it easier. And I'll get into that number just a little bit. That number will be a little bit more important here in a minute. And then you want to ask yourself, how much do you want to make? How much is your labor worth? Because you've paid your taxes for the business. You've taken out your expenses for the business. And now how much do you want? What do you value yourself at? Me, I don't want to make anything less than $20 an hour. Things are just too expensive. After expenses and after taxes and all that, I want to make $20 an hour. That's, I don't see how any human being that can do even menial tasks is worth less than $20 an hour. But that's my opinion. I won't get into all that now. So you want to find that number that you're okay with for your labor costs, for what you're paying yourself out of your business, right? Per hour that you work. And then you stick to that orders that are going to get you to that point, right? So $6 orders are not going to get me to $20 an hour after expenses. They won't do it. And so I don't like taking them. And I'm about to show some numbers here, and I'm going to run through a scenario, just kind of in general terms. And this is to give you guys an idea of how having an employee mindset going into this kind of work is not a good thing, because you're going to end up, paying the piper at some point. The 30 and 60 cents per mile, you're not paying that right up front. This is something that accumulates over time, and you end up paying it down the road at some point, especially if you continue to do this. You will always, it's a rolling value. You're always going to end up paying that. So let's look at what this might entail, okay? So if you're taking $6 orders, and let's say they're 4 miles a piece. That's probably about average. So we'll just say you're taking $6 orders at 4 miles. And of course, this is going to vary greatly. You could have some really high paying orders, or you could have orders that take you forever to do. Even the high paying ones can end up costing you money if you're not careful. But we'll just use this number as an example. So you're taking 4 $6 orders in an hour. That means every order that you took for 5 hours, we're going to say you worked for 5 hours. For 5 hours, every order you took you only 15 minutes, which, if you've been doing this for a while, it's not always perfect. And some orders can take 30 minutes to 40 minutes to 60 minutes to complete. It happens. We all have those days. So that's $24 an hour. And then if you worked 5 hours, that is $120 for those 5 hours, right? So your operating costs, assuming that you were driving 4 miles for each one of those deliveries, you went 80 miles. So let's figure up on there. You drove 80 miles at 30 cents a mile. Now I'm just going to do all this in conservative numbers. If you have a newer vehicle, this cost is actually going to be more because your car is going to depreciate more. Although there is an argument to be made that you will use more in repairs if you have an older car too. So there's kind of a middle ground there. So 80 miles times the 30 cents per mile. That's $24 it cost you in that one day for those 5 hours. So you take your overall total, $120, you subtract the $24 that you used for your vehicle's operating expenses, which brings you to $96. That's for 5 hours of work. That's $19.20 an hour. That's not too bad, right? Well, then you got to pay the tax, man. And I do the taxes afterward because those expenses are tax deductible. So, well, I'll just figure it up just to be more accurate. Even though you'll pay the 30% off of your total, beforehand. And then you take from there. So we're going to figure 30%, on that stuff, right? So 15.3 plus 10 plus your state. So here I just calculated it 25.3, assuming you live in a state that doesn't have any state tax. $96 times, 0.253, that's 25.3%. That's $24.29 that you're going to pay Uncle Sam for those 5 hours. That brings you to a grand total of $71.71 for 5 hours. That means for those 5 hours, taking $6 orders at 4 miles apiece, you would have made $14.34 an hour for those 5 hours. It's not great. Okay. That's not great. $14 an hour isn't enough money to feed your family, especially given the fact that you're not always going to be working 40 hours a week doing this stuff. So, if you value yourself at $14 an hour, then, that's fine. Then you're coming out ahead. But also keep in mind that when those the vehicle expenses do come up, they come up generally in large amounts. So we're talking $500 to $2,000 it may cost you to fix something on your vehicle that breaks. Not a lot of people think about that stuff beforehand. And then when it happens, it's pretty devastating because they haven't taken any money out of what they've made and put it to the side in case those things happen. But as a business owner, in which you are, if you're doing this line of work, you are a business owner, you have to think in those terms. You pay yourself after you've gotten rid of your expenses and after you've paid your taxes. Then you pay yourself whatever it is that you want, right? And that's the way that you should do it. That's the way you should look at it. So that, $24 an hour that you're like, at the end of the day, you're like, hey, I made $24 an hour. Yeah, that's great. Well, then you take out your expenses and then you take out your taxes. At $24 an hour just dropped to 14. So a lot of people don't look at it this way, but hopefully by seeing these numbers here and the way they all kind of calculate together, and keep in mind, this isn't going to be typical necessarily. I'm just giving an easy explanation of how you can kind of figure it up on your own, what you're actually making per hour after your expenses and after your taxes. So hopefully this helps you guys out, and hopefully this keeps you in a mindset of being a business owner and not an employee. You are not an employee. Uncle Sam doesn't see you as an employee. DoorDash, GrubHub, Uber Eats, they don't see you as employees, although they may want to treat you like one. They don't want to pay you like one. And remember, none of the numbers that I've put up here today have added into it the benefits that you would receive while being an employee. If you want health insurance, you're going to be paying out the ass for it. And you likely aren't going to be making enough money to justify paying full price for health insurance. Because remember, if you get health insurance through your employer, they often pay a large percentage of the health insurance premiums for you. And you're only paying a portion of that. But if you're by yourself and you're getting a private, health insurance, it's going to cost you a lot more. Anyway, that's a different topic for a different day, but I'll leave you with that, guys. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you hit the subscribe button if you like the information that you got from me, and I'll be doing more videos like this and posting them, so we'll see you around. Thanks for watching.